Thomas Frank, Thomas the Frank engine has left. He has been sacked. Sayonara. Good night on Boherlat, Thomas. Off with you, bio. He has been sacked from Tottenham Hotspur as of a few hours ago now of this recording. And he's gone. He is gone. He's left the building. Spurs are no longer under the run of Thomas Frank, under the run of pragmatism, under the run of negative football, under the run of lackluster, no attacking threat, and ultimately boring Tottenham Hotspur football. Um, and yeah, this comes on a back of huge, I think, a few factors in the events of huge fan outrage. I think we as fans have made it known to the board that it has been unacceptable as of late. The first 5 to 10 games, we allowed it. We had patience for Frank. We were like, no, give him time, give him the patience. He deserves it. He deserves that chance. However, it has gone completely sideways, completely uphilter, and completely not what probably we, the board, and I would say Frank himself would admit also. It has been absolute train wreck of a display from Frank and his staff. I only realised today that he actually had brought over not just him, not just Cochrane, but 9 staff members from Brentford. Spurs literally, we had Brentford, we threw money at him, took him up, brought him over here, placed him down, and wanted to reciprocate what the Brentford model was, and we didn't even do that. We didn't even do that. That's probably been one of the biggest failings, I would say, is that we didn't even manage to replicate what Brentford have done. And the best part of Brentford, from what we didn't take away, was their scouting. Their scouting network, it was probably their most cohesive, most fundamental thing that made Brentford who they are and successful. And we decided to leave that. But yeah, we'll take the medical staff. Yeah, we'll take the manager. Yeah, we'll take the set piece coach. But we won't. We'll just ignore the fact that they're finding these, excuse me, those really unproven players and making them gems, making diamonds out of nothing. So really, um, disappointed with that. Other pressure I think has been come from that needs to be put on. I think now is the board. The board now have acted following a January transfer window where we have done zero to no business. Yes, we brought in Gallagher and Souza, as I covered in my previous video a couple of videos ago, but that wasn't enough. It's as of today now, we've been told that Odebear has now an ACL injury. So we have one left winger, and that's Matisse Tell. That's it. Mikey Moore's out on loan. Williams Barnett is a kid. Souza probably will be a makeshift left winger, I would assume, unless we put Xavi out on the left. But then who fits in at the 10? It's honestly it's laughable. It's honestly laughable what an absolute shit show Spurs have become now. It's chronic. It's chronic. It's as worse, I think, as I've ever seen it in terms of the hostility by the looks of it on from the crowd, from the lack of, I suppose, n not vision, but the lack of, they were never great with it, but even bringing in Vinay. Now, Vinay is a staunch, he worked with Arsenal. I don't want to come on here and say he's a staunch Gooner, he's red flowing through his veins or anything like that, because I honestly don't know and I couldn't care less. I care about how he works for my club, and how he has worked for my club since being appointed in his role has been nothing short of shambolic. I think his position should be under scrutiny and under the microscope, as well as Johan Lang. Paratici had the common sense and he fecked off to Florence, thinking that it's going to be they're better, being nearly going to be in Serie B with the rate they're going. But look, he'll be following suit. He might be joining another club that'll be relegated after he leaves the club, nearly in a relegation battle. Because make no mistake, Man United last night in Cesco eased our pain slightly, ever so slightly, with scoring that goal. And it was a great goal, savage goal as well. And credit to United for getting back in, and credit to Mike Carrick for going in and doing a standout job. But it just leaves it like that's what we're clinging on to that now as Spurs fans. We're like, thank God Man United saved us from West Ham, who probably deserved it nearly to win the game last night. We're clinging on to the hopes of other teams getting one over on West Ham to try and nullify them so that we can try and pick up points. Where we're going to pick up points, you've better luck winning the lottery because under nothing has looked like any bit of positivity that we're going to pick up points at all. You know, we've Arsenal coming up on the 22nd in our next game in a big North London derby. We will get railroaded. I mean railroaded, like just bombarded. There's no chance. I'm giving us no chance. Even if Frank was in the job, I'd be giving us no chance anyways. But now that he's gone, new manager bounce and all that crack it could benefit us. I highly, highly doubt it. So what next for Spurs? What next for Tottenham Hotspur? What next for Frank? Well, he will get his compensation, and that's more money that Enoch and the Lewis family have now decided to shell out. So we paid 10 million to get Frank and his team. We paid off Ange. We had to pay him off because we sacked him as well. Now we're going to have to be paying Frank off. As far as I know, he signed it, was it a 3 or 4 year deal? So that's huge amounts when he's on 8 million a year, allegedly. So that's if we have to pay him off for even 2 years, that's 16 million. That's transfer kitty fund gone on a manager on another manager. It's gotten to the stage now where where do we go from here as a club? Because Enoch and the Lewis family now find themselves, I think, in a really tough position, and rightfully so. They need where do we go? Do we go route one? We hire a long-term manager who comes in now and gets the ball rolling, i.e. Deserving. To me, he's the most logical choice in the sense that he'll come in, we'll start well, we'll mellow out, he'll lose the rag, call out everyone, it'll be Conte 2.0. But we might stay up. Or we go for route two, bring in an interim. I'll touch on who I think will come in an interim in a second. Bring in an interim for 6 months, and come the end of the season, draw up a short list because there will be more managers available. What do you do? What do you do if you're them? If you're the Enoch or the Lewis family? Personally, I'd be fucking selling the club. Um, to just cash in. There's reports going up that Levy was selling his stake for nearly 1 billion. Was it a couple of days ago or maybe a week ago at this stage? Um, so yeah, if I was Lewis, I'd be cashing in, sell it out. But that still doesn't solve any of the problems. We bring in a yes man, or no one is going to want to leave their club if they're already employed to come in on a 6 month stint to then be booted out the door come the end of June or the start of June. Sorry. So who do you go for? The most logical thing for me is you'd bring in Ryan Mason because he knows the club. Yes, he did shocking with West Brom. You bring in Ryan Mason. Players know him, staff know him. He knows the club as well as anyone. He comes in until the end of the season. You have Heitenga there as well, who'll probably be his assistant, and you keep on the rest of Frank's staff unless they decide to go themselves. But then that asks the question. Then I was listening to a really good show earlier on Spurs Talk Show with Sean and Johnny and them, and they were saying about like, would would the Brentford people even want to be working there, knowing that they could eventually be leaving, in 6 months' time? I thought that was a good point. Like, are they just going to down tools themselves because the fella who they came in with, he's now gotten the road, and they're probably in the back of their minds thinking, well, if a new manager is coming in, they might want their whole new staff, so we will be gone. So I thought it was an interesting point from them. Um, but yeah, so personally, I think Mason will probably get the job. Heitenga will be there as an assistant, and then they will run us through to the end of the season. If we're in the championship, Mason will probably be taking us in charge. I'd say. If we're in the Premier League, I would say Poch. Poch seems to be all the media, all the PR stuff that's been coming out has been just saying that Poch he's been working for Spurs pretty much, for want of a better term. He's just been, everything has been reflecting on Spurs, how Spurs have been doing. Yes, he's been seeing how the USA are going to do and prep and all that, but it's all been on Tottenham. He loves the club, loves the fans, always wanted to come back. He said his dream was to win like the Premier League, Champions League. He ain't going to do that with us, so I don't know why he'd want to, you know, be thinking that he's going to. But yeah, I'd say Poch will come back then at the end of the World Cup year. But that's in May. We are needing a solution now. And now, personally, I wouldn't like. I've seen reports of bringing like the likes of Robbie Keane from Ferran Covas. He won't leave, but he won't leave, even though he'd be a great addition. Robbie Keane, no, he seems too happy with their and they seem to really be happy with him as manager. They've been doing really well in the Europa League. So I can't see him coming. Who else? He the likes of Brendan Rodgers, I've heard names about, but he's already obviously just gone to Saudi. Plus, I don't think he'd be too keen on coming down to Tottenham to help in a relegation battle. And then you kind of have other people who are maybe out of work, but are probably enjoying their free time. The two that stand out, Harry Redknapp and maybe Roy Hodgson or Big Sam. Big Sam has the experience of getting you out of a relegation battle 4-4-2, chuck the ball long to Dom Solanke and hope for the best. Or you'd have, would you go for the likes of, who we clutching at straws? Steve Bruce is the one that comes to my head. Tony Pulis, Alan Pardew. I'm trying to think of other, managers who are out of work maybe. Um, there probably is much they're just the ones off the top of my head. They won't come. They probably would come, but like we Spurs fans would we'd lose it if we appointed any of them. But and one as well that I was seeing was Ange. Bring back Ange. Yeah, bring back the lad who we got 22 league defeats, where we've 13 first team fellas injured, and play gun ho football when we have what, three centre halves. Yeah, that's what we need. That's exactly it. Yeah. So credit to anyone who thinks of bringing Big Ange back, because he definitely solved our problems. 100%. Yeah, we wouldn't have any other issues with him. Bring him back. Honestly, everyone has an opinion up until a point, and then you hear the opinion, you're like, probably should have kept that to yourself. Yeah. But yeah, so that is where we are at. That is where we're at with Thomas Frank. He has left the building. Choo choo, no more. Um, Look, when he came in and was appointed, I was happy. I was more 50. I was more like 51-49. I was happy, but I was like, right, it doesn't really, you know, make too much sense to me. But I was like, okay, he'll steady the ship for the next guy. For like the likes that I'd love, your Eddie Howe. The way Newcastle are going, he could be within the shop window come the summer. The likes of your Julian Nagelsmann. But I don't see Nagelsmann coming to Spurs in any world. I'd be shocked if we got him out of Germany come the end of the World Cup. I really would, because I think he turned us down before, but so I don't see him. No, we haven't exactly improved upon the last time. Maybe if we'd won a couple of leagues, and our cups are done, consistently well, it would have worked in our favour. But yeah, don't see him coming in. Ancelotti, no. Jose, no. I'd love Jose back. That's just my personal opinion. I'd love him, but he won't come. Klopp, not a chance, and not a chance, not a Scooby would Klopp come. So yeah, so our talent pool to choose from is very diluted even now. Yes, it'll increase a little bit more so in the summer, but it's a matter of what do the board want to do? Who do they see as the person to lead us lead us to the promised land of 10th, maybe, if we're lucky. If we're lucky, even 15th at this rate. Um, but yeah, so Thomas, it didn't nothing personal, didn't work out. Seems like a top lad, top man. Um, Always spoke well of the club, probably to his own detriment. And few things I liked about him were that he did praise the players. He did always speak highly of them. Some things I didn't like then were that, well, didn't like obviously his playing style. Results were shocking. Didn't like how he could have maybe called out the likes of Spence, Romero, and Van de Ven a bit more. I think that bit more scrutiny on that. But look, he'll learn from that. He'll probably go into a likes of like a Leeds or an Everton, maybe even a Bournemouth. If Iriola leaves, we could end up getting Iriola. Frank goes into Bournemouth, does a job there, or he could go off somewhere for him. He's a good coach, he's just not what we needed. That was probably um I wouldn't say right person, right time, but I would probably say, well, yeah, it wouldn't be wrong person, wrong time. So it's another blunder by the board, and they need to get their act together and fast because we are a ship that is taking on water and we're going down. But yeah. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, let me know down below in the comments. Thanks very much, I should say, for the engagement between my last couple of videos. It's been really good. It's great to see the subscribers go up. So thank you so much to anyone who has done. If you haven't, please do hit that red button below. It's free. It helps me out massively. It helps the channel grow, help hopefully reach more people, reach more other Spurs content creators, and like that. So thank you so much again for all the engagement between the likes, the subscribers. It's been great. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Who do you think Spurs should bring in? Do you think Mason will get the gig? Is it Johnny Heitenga until the end of the season? If it is, we might be in trouble with going off that Ajax record. Or do we bring in a long-term management manager like a De Zerbi in, who will come in, crack down, and needless to say, will be entertained, but it'll more or less be off the pitch stuff, I would say. But yeah, let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And I shall hopefully see you on the next video. And yeah, let's hope the Spurs board can uh pull their finger, and let's hope they can get someone in that we can all get behind. Thanks very much for watching. Talk to you in the next one.